back to us. Yes, you are youthful. You are out there doing your bit. Let's talk about the Ghanaian youth. Generally, are they hardworking? Be sincere with us. What are your thoughts? Or they can do more?
Well, you know, I don't know if it's fair to ask that question in a vacuum. You know, because if your hard work does not translate into results, you ask yourself, how hard should you work?
But how do you see it from where you sit in terms of mindset, in terms of attitude? What do you see?
It's a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag. You know, you have a lot of young people who are really ready and willing to work, but the opportunities and the space is not being made for them. You know, there are young people who want to start businesses, but because of, unfortunately, the way the system works out is because of the youth, they don't have anything that they can present as collateral, which means that they don't get the loans that they would need,
So
for example.
a lot of startups don't get to lift off.
Yes, and the other thing with startups is I think there's been so much buzz around the concept of startups without the hand holding you need for 3 to 5 years.
Okay.
So you have a whole tick box of we've managed to, not we as in myself personally, but you have a whole, you know, conversation around the fact that, you know, a lot of young people have been, you know, trained, and there's the startups and all of these, you know, I don't want to go into mentioning names, but if you look for those young people 2 years down the line, 3 years down the line, there's nothing. Because
What are we doing wrong or getting wrong? That is why they don't just get to also scale.
Well, you see, it's a whole range of things, okay? First of all, if you're expecting young people to be more productive in terms of whether it's entrepreneurship or something, and the cost of production of anything is so high, it means that starting off with, you're already running at a loss. And for young people who are trying to start off making ends meet, it makes it very difficult for them because you have to survive on top of having a business that works. And I think that the problem that we're looking at is there has to be, as part of the whole
Value chain?
I suppose, you need to not just look at getting young people and starting off, but giving them the mentorship, the guidance, and the support that they need to be fully established. I mean, if you think about even something as basic as concrete,
Right.
when you've put all the mortar there and you've spread it out, it needs time to set
Right.
before you put something on top of it. But if you don't provide that time to set, which is that first 3 to 5 years of support given to young people who you're pushing into the entrepreneurship space, you're setting them up to fail. And when you set them up to fail when they're trying to do it the right way, then you start pushing people into the get-rich-quick scheme type of way, which is not right. But when hard work is not being rewarded, when merit is not recognized, you start creating a change in mindset with regards to what works.
Okay.
You know, and I think that from that point of view, I think that should I say the grown-ups?
Have failed?
Yes.
The youth. You
Yes,
think so?
I believe so. And you see, what's happening now is the youth are being punished for the mistakes of the generation that came before them, which is unfair.
I saw some Jonah, you know, tweeting about that and also posted that, look, his generation, and like you're saying, the older generation, they failed the younger ones. You believe in that as well?
I do believe so, because you see, we should not, I'm 46.
Right.
I should not at my age be able to say it was much better when I was 20 something. You know, in my mind, I'm too young to be able to say that.
That's right.
You know, it's like when you get into your 70s and you think, oh, it was better in our days, because all the older people say that. But when you're at this point in your life, to be able to look back and say, it wasn't like this, you know, and you ask yourself, so how are we creating an enabling environment for the younger people to achieve their dreams? Because if you have, like we have in Ghana, like we have across the continent, such a huge young population, and there isn't a sense of something better ahead, whether it's by virtue of the fact that there's an older generation that has just decided they are not making room for the young people, whether it's because there is a lack of innovation and imagination when it comes to what works for this new generation, whether it's a matter of allowing them to the decision-making table so that you can have a different way, because the world has changed. What we're going through now, we did not experience that as children. My generation did not experience what some of the young people are going through now as children.